I want to touch on the importance of silence and really the impact that it's had on my life, for better or for worse. Growing up, I was always known as the quiet kid, the awkward kid. I was extremely insecure and just didn't know how to act around people. And so I was kind of fit into that stereotype. And it really affected me mentally just because I was always trying to project myself as anything other than that. I remember always attempting to run these scenarios in my head of how I would approach people, what I would talk to them about and what would be able to fly in the sense that, they wouldn't be able to kind of categorize me in that way, like, oh, this guy is the quiet kid, he is extremely awkward. And I've been like that for most of my life, but eventually I was able to kind of phase out of that, and be able to become comfortable with myself, become comfortable in my own skin, and being able to understand that silence is extremely precious. And through silence, I was able to prioritize my peace of mind. And I didn't have to worry about feeling validated by the people around me, and trying not and focus on trying not to avoiding the thoughts in my head and just worrying about the noise, the distractions. Spending lots of time alone and being able to subject myself to my own thoughts has really had this profound impact on my life. It's really changed how I perceive myself and other people. Um, Being able to spend a lot of time alone, being silent, it's really increased my ability to be self aware and understanding my strengths and weaknesses, and understanding the impact that I have on other people because I understand those things. I understand my flaws and my characteristics and how that makes me compatible with other people. And it makes me embrace my personal problems and embrace, the current situation that I'm in my life. And that will be different for everybody. But I also feel that I've gained a serious appreciation for the people around me. Being alone and just really having such a lack of social interactions, it's really helped me appreciate even the simplest of daily interactions with people, and really understanding the different types of people and what they've experienced, and what stories they can share with me. And that really changes how I view the world, how I view everything around me. And not to mention all the ways that it supports your brain health and really gives you that sense of mental clarity, and self-confidence. Just being comfortable with yourself, being comfortable around yourself, and not having to rely on external noise, whether that's always trying to be around people, always being on your phone, being exposed to social media, and distracting yourself from whatever real problems you may be facing. The main takeaway from this, and really what I have learned, and it's very important. You're becoming more comfortable with your thoughts and just who you are as a person. Whether you see it this way or not, you're addressing the problems in your life mentally, and you're understanding that they are there. You're acknowledging them, you're addressing them. You're not, you know, allowing yourself to rely on others to keep those external distractions and noises because you're not, you may not be comfortable in your own skin. And I think the greatest example of this is in majority of social settings, if you're the quiet guy, if you're the guy who's choosing to not be overly social and extroverted and you're choosing to keep to yourself and you're not too concerned with how you project yourself onto other people, majority of people are going to see you as like, hey, you're weird. You're a weird person. You're choosing not to socialize with everyone. You're choosing to be by yourself. And that makes a lot of other people uncomfortable. And I think that in itself says a lot about people. There's a lot of people that can't handle that silence, that can't handle that peace of mind, that quiet, just sitting there, not talking, and just thinking. And I've noticed this a lot where people will kind of make these insinuations that, I'm not very forthcoming, I'm not very outgoing, I don't go out of my way to talk to people, I prefer to keep to myself. And over time, just thinking about these instances, you can just really tell, who is comfortable with themselves and their situation in life, wherever they stand, whatever those problems may be. And I think it's just becoming a bigger and bigger problem as time goes on. Just not being able to look inward and understand your own problems and what you need to improve in your life, as opposed to focusing on other people and also just trying to distract yourself as much as possible with whatever day-to-day tasks you have, whatever obligations that you have. And, technology and social media and how it's advanced so fast and how algorithms work and how it's all designed to keep your attention and just keep you going, it doesn't help at all. It makes it significantly worse. And I think this is a serious problem. So it's kind of a way of me self-reflecting on how silence as a concept is extremely simple, but it has such a profound impact on the individual. And in a lot of social settings, it's really just perceived as this ambiguous flaw because a lot of people just feel like they can't really understand someone who chooses to be quiet and reserved and chooses to keep to themselves. And majority of the time, it's just viewed as a negative trait. But people who choose to be silent and have spent vast amounts of time by themselves in silence with their own thoughts have so much more self-awareness and they understand the people around them. So I think that it's easy to, like I said, it's easy to get caught up in all your day-to-day obligations, going to work, going to school, having those family obligations, having you have kids to take care of, and whatever else you're trying to achieve in life. And it's, harder to set aside time for yourself and to really understand yourself. And I think because of that and because of the amount of noise and interconnectivity that we're exposed to with social media, it makes it so much harder to just reflect on ourselves in any sense of that manner. Because I think at the end of the day, the most important skill to have, the most important trait to have is being able to understand yourself to the utmost extent, being able to reflect and just understanding everything about yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, why certain things interest you, why certain things don't interest you, why there's certain type of people you don't like, why there's certain type of people you do like, and just everything. I've been kind of going on a rant, but this is just something that I think about constantly. But overall, being able to find genuine silence and peace of mind is extremely hard to come around. It's becoming harder and harder to block out the noise, block out what you're seeing, what's going on in the world. It's hard to ignore the people around you, comparing yourself to the people around you. Maybe you're in a very tough situation and you're not where you want to be, and you see so many people in the place that you want to be, and you have so many goals that you want to achieve. And it's really easy to become extremely warped around these things and kind of almost losing yourself in a sense. And whenever you have these problems, it's more important than ever to just look inward and spend some time to yourself. Silence is extremely precious, and it's needed now more than ever. Let me know what you guys think.